Hey everyone, it's me, the Shakta Oracle, and today we're going to do a reading channeled during the full moon in Cancer. So get your tea, get your water, get your blanket. It's time to get cozy because full moon Cancer is that mommy energy. So if any of y'all are like me and you have mommy issues, here we are. Um, so I'm going to pull some cards, but first we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on with healing mother wounds. Okay, so deep wounds can go back to ancestors, past lives, like just the depth of what we're going through is not always accessible. If you're in therapy, if you're doing, hypnosis therapy, or if you're doing like regression therapy, if you're just like healing your inner child, all these things are really helpful. But sometimes there are going to be unknowns. Okay, like you're not gonna figure it all out. You're not gonna have all the visions. You're not gonna have all the information, and that's part of the surrender to our guides, our angels, our ancestors to bring us the healing without us always knowing every little detail of it. And sometimes for me, like knowing the details gives me like I could like mark it off my checklist of healing, and healing just is not that way. And we are allowed to take periodic pause to celebrate and acknowledge that healing and progress has happened, regardless if you're always aware of what exactly happened. It's good to do that, or else we're just like in a constant fix-it state, or self-deprecating mindset. So with the mother healing, just like any parent healing really, is that we start to develop a better internal parent. So we have an inner critic parent who might just like tell you what to do all the time, never think that you're good enough, like an inner voice and an inner narrative that just does not nourish you and support you in the way that you will need. And that inner critic might reflect a parent that you actually had, or like just when you developed to compensate for the lack of a parent and the way that you thought parents should be. And catching that voice and catching those looping thoughts is really important, especially since they can sabotage our blessings, our abundance, our, careers, our friendships, our relationships, and all those things. Mother healing during the full moon in Cancer is really special. Whatever that might look like for you. It could just mean meditating and breathing on the intention to have spirit lift these wounds, and releasing the emotional baggage that's accumulated, the looping thoughts, whatever it is that you might be carrying from these energies. Two really cool exercises that I learned was in terms of healing our inner parent and our connecting to our inner child, is one is like drawing an image of your family, right? And don't overthink it. It could be like the family you're in now. It could be a family from childhood. It could be whatever. It could be a stick figures. It doesn't matter. And just kind of looking at it with an interpretive eye. And you'll see like different things like, oh, this person is closer to this person than they are to this person in proximity. This person and I are like the same height, even though in real life we're really not. Like little things that you can note like that can give you insight into what your inner child thinks about your family and your connection to your family. And there you can heal that stuff, right? And the other one is to use your dominant writing hand and writing to your inner child, and then using your non-dominant writing hand and writing from the perspective of your inner child back to you. And you can have a conversation and like check in with your inner child. There are a lot of different techniques out there. There's a lot of different ways to do this healing. Sometimes it's just being cozy and like wrapping up in a blanket, reading a good book to your inner child, maybe a children's book, maybe watching a children's movie, and also like having some structure for your inner child. Like if you had the kind of childhood where there wasn't a lot of play, like are you introducing play into your daily life? Are you letting your inner child be silly and have some time to paint or draw or dance or sing or make up, like, or have playtime, things like that, like whatever you might have been lacking in your childhood. but at the same time, not getting too overly focused on the details of your childhood in terms of doing the opposite of that, right? Because that's part of the healing, but some of it is mysterious. That's why when we develop a really strong relationship with our higher power, our guides, our angels, our ancestors, we get messages directing us to things that are healing for us without us understanding what exactly it's healing. Like if you're healing ancestor trauma, you're not going to remember and you're not going to know all the details to what your grandmother went through. And you're just trying to lift those pockets of pain and trauma and the emotional memories that need to be released, okay? So we're going to start with a quick little visualization meditation, and then we're going to do a reading channel during the full moon Cancer. Take a deep breath and exhale. Visualize a beautiful full moon above your head and a beautiful sun, and see the energies of the sun and the moon blessing your body, blessing your spirit, nourishing you, supporting you, healing you. And take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, allowing all that energy to drop down into your toes. Taking another deep breath, and exhale, pulling that energy back down into your toes. And taking one more deep breath, and this time pushing that energy out of our feet, down towards Mother Earth, connecting us to Mother Earth. Connecting the sun and the moon to Mother Earth through our bodies. And feel how the earth supports us. Imagine the big, wide earth and our small bodies being held by that big, wide earth. And gently swaying your body, comforting your inner child, opening up your heart, relaxing your shoulders, letting out a sigh. And you can keep your eyes closed or you can open them back up. And I'm going to get started with the reading. So we have the Five of Cups, the Hanged Man, Temperance, the Two of Coins, the Two of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles, the Ten of Coins. There is progress, towards abundance, towards stability. And it starts from the point of grief. It starts from that grieving, from that release of grieving, from that letting go, from the acceptance that things have moved on, that things have changed, that there has been loss. Okay? And the pause, the time that we give ourselves. So we could actually look at that as like whatever wounds are coming up in the Cancer full moon, like whatever is coming up from the past, whatever might still seem like it's present. Like let's say you're in an argument with somebody and it triggers you and you're thinking it's about this person, which partially it is, right? Let's not invalidate the fact that there might be something toxic happening, but there's a deeper wound. And to really clear that kind of interaction in your life, clearing that wound is really helpful. And remembering that we might not all have the details. So prayer and meditation help us deeply in removing things that we don't have the details for, sometimes we're meditating and then just something pops up and we can say, Spirit, lift this blah, blah, blah feeling out of me, lift this memory from me. I'm ready to release this, and sometimes it's very visible, tangible, like visceral, like pain from like a loss, and when the Five of Cups comes up, it's not something that we can do anything about. It's something that has already happened and it affected us, and we're holding on to the feelings of it, but the actions of it, the experience of it has already passed. you know. And this isn't about rushing through grief. This card comes up when it's like you've had a time to grieve, and you've really been through the energies and the feelings, and now it's time to look forward to what you still have, because that's what's going to like pull you out of this, and to release and to accept, to just accept what has occurred. It doesn't mean it's good or bad or whatever. It doesn't, there's no judgment on it. Just acceptance. This has happened. This is what has happened, and I cannot change that. Um, and just seeing that and making that a practice in your life to look back, be like, okay, this happened, and now I have to move forward, or I am moving back forward. Time does not stop. But we have the Hanged Man here, who is kind of a representation of taking a pause. But this pause is for new perspective. So whatever it is that actually felt painful or difficult in the past, something that you've been ruminating on and thinking about in a certain way, can now have new perspective. Now you can use this moon energy, or whenever you're watching this video, whenever you're connecting to this energy, you can start to welcome in new perspective about the situation. Okay, then we have Temperance. From the new perspective, there comes a balance, right? There's an acceptance of what happened. You're not forgetting it right away. You're not like, okay, I'm just gonna like bury it or escape it. You were fully in it, and then you had a new perspective, and here you are creating balance. Okay, the card deck that I usually use, which is the Pamela Coleman Smith deck, you'll see two cups are still available, and then the other three have spilled, right? And so here are the two cups. Temperance has them, and Temperance is using the two cups to create a sort of balancing energy, like going back and forth. This actually reminds me of this thing that my grandmother would do, where to cool like really hot beverages, she would like pour them back and forth between two cups. And also certain drinks that when you make them like that, it makes it like really frothy and like kind of rich in its texture. And so I feel like this is like an enrichment, a soothing, a shifting, an alchemical process that is also very grounded, you know? So whenever you get to this, you're still going to be tapping into the energy that it was channeled from, which is Cancer full moon and Capricorn sun. You know, a balance between feelings and groundedness, a balance between, you know, okay, these are my feelings. I need to accept them and honor them and validate them. And then I also have to put into action the things that I need to move forward, right? So it's like Capricorn can get a little cold sometimes, and Cancer can get a little really like can get a little buried in emotion. So when they balance each other, it's a great balance. You know, there was a north south node Cancer Capricorn experience. I think wasn't last year, or was it the year before? There was like a lot of balancing with these two signs. So this might be reminiscent of some work that you did like last year for your own personal healing journey. So we have the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is like being right where you are and not expecting yourself to suddenly be perfect at something that you just started, or to suddenly be like rich and you just, you know, like you suddenly have all these things and you just began a journey. It's like be right where you are and accept the growth. Two is better than one, two is better than nothing. And not just being like, oh, well, I wish I was here, or look at this other person, or I could have been, or beating yourself up about where you're at. This is about accepting the foundations that are being built right now, because on that foundation, on that sturdy, very even foundation, there will be so much more, and more than you can ever imagine if you allow spirit into this process. But also not demonizing or belittling yourself, or having that inner critic or negative inner parent come in and be like, two is not enough. Because remember, you're also talking to your inner children when you start projects, when you start a business, when you start a relationship, when you start anything, and you have just the two coins. Like, so imagine what you would say to a child. You would support them, you would nourish them, you would celebrate them. This is so amazing. This is a great accomplishment. You're doing great. Keep going. You know, remember to take breaks, do everything that you need. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. I'm here for you. And that's what this Two of Coins is saying. Also, we have the 10 of coins that closes up this reading, which is saying like there's going to be support, there's going to be community, there are going to be like-minded people, and people are going to come together to create an abundant environment. This means that a new like system or a new way of being is coming into your life. While the sun is coming through the window on this one. That there is going to be a new way of money, a new way of abundance, like all this as we step into this next level of awareness in our collective. So we're going to be making money easier. We're going to be supporting each other in a healthier way. And it's very possible that the constructs that just were oppressive are just going to start falling away. And from it is this new growth and this new community and this new abundance and this new way of existing. And for anyone clinging to, you know, the ideas of the past, like, you're just gonna be stuck in that grieving process. You're not gonna see that there's so much more coming in. When there is loss, there's still room for rebirth and growth. There's not gonna be room for that balance, from that alchemy to step in. And of course, yes, you're gonna have to be somewhere new that might feel like not as accomplished as you were before. But it's like, you know, stepping from junior high, 8th grade into high school, or from the end of high school into college, or from one company to another where you were, you know, the star employee and now you're starting over again, or from a relationship where you had developed a sort of standing in that relationship and now you have to go to this new space, or a new therapist where you have to kind of talk all over again about who you are and start over. But the foundations are sturdy, they're stable, they're even. This number 2 is really, you're being divinely guided. Spirit is with you. The partnerships are growing, and they're gonna grow so well, okay? This kind of family energy, this is like a healing experience. This is where we all help each other. This is where we come together and we really have that kind of community that we've always needed, that family energy that we've always needed, that is gonna naturally be healing. It doesn't mean you're digging in there and trying to find what you need to heal. It's just going to naturally happen with this kind of dynamic. And it's abundant. It's giving to you. Your money worries and all those things will fall away as you let go of this emotional baggage. Okay? I am sending you so much love and appreciation, and whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, you're doing your best, and that is good enough. Love you.